And then we start solving. So solving is, once again, we're going to solve for x and figure out what it is, but we have an issue. When you don't have just an x here, you have an x divided by 2 or another number, you have to replace it. So we've got to replace all of this with the identity or with the half angle formula for cosine of x over 2. So I'm going to rewrite it. So I've got 2 minus the sine squared x equals 2 times, and then it's cosine squared, so we're going to put that squared. And the formula for x over 2, cosine of x over 2, is plus or minus the square root of 1 plus cosine of x over 2. Okay, now here's the cool part. This is the part that I love about this is, we have the square root, and that always seems like so frustrating because, square roots are frustrating. But here's the cool thing, we're squaring it. So the square root and square root are going to cancel. The other thing that's going to happen is this gets squared. A positive squared is a positive, a negative squared is a positive. So no matter what, it'll be positive. So I can basically look at that being gone, square root and square root cancel, and so now I have 2 minus sine squared of x equals 2 times, square root's gone, so it's 1 plus cosine of x over 2. And then we just start simplifying. The 2's cancel. So we get 2 minus sine squared of x equals 1 plus the cosine of x. No need for parentheses anymore. And then, just like every other problem we've done, whenever you have something squared and something not squared and then constants, you get everything to one side and get it equal to 0. So we are going to add sine squared to the other side. And we are going to subtract 2 to the other side. So now here, this all cancels, and I get 0 equals. Then I have sine squared x plus cosine, and put everything in order, and then minus 1, because 1 minus 2 is minus 1. Now the problem we have here is that I have a sine squared and I have a cosine. Those are different functions. So I'm going to have to replace sine squared with, the identity moved around, 1 minus cosine squared plus cosine x minus 1. And then, and then 1 minus 1, those cancel out. And so now I have 0 equals negative cosine squared x plus cosine of x. And let's see here. We have, let's see, I can take out a cosine. So take a cosine of x out. That leaves me with a negative cosine x plus 1. So remember, when I'm dividing by cosine, so one of the cosines can cancel here. Divide by cosine there, I get a 1. And then I can take each of those and set them equal to 0. So I've got cosine of x equals 0. And I've got negative cosine x plus 1 equals 0. Ish, that's a mess right there. Okay, so if I subtract 1 over and divide by negative, I get cosine of x equals 1. So for both of these, I use the unit circle, and let's see, cosine of x equals 0. Cosine is the x value, and the x value equals 0 here, and notice it's over 0 to 2 pi, so I don't have to add anything on. I just say that x equals pi over 2, and x equals 3 pi over 2. So that's for this one. Okay, so here's 2 of my answers. And then for cosine of x equals 1, let's see, cosine is the x value, it equals 1 right there. So then x equals 0. And there's my third answer there. Okay, so that's a lot of things going on in one problem. So you may need to watch this a couple times just to remember everything. But again, you replace anytime you have x over 2 or something like that, instead of just the angle, you replace the whole thing. And then you just start doing the math. And there's a lot of math going on, so you have to be careful. We've got the unit circle here, so you've got to use the unit circle. If you're lucky, your numbers are 0 and 1. If you're not, they're going to be somewhere in here, root 3 over 2, 1/2, that kind of thing. All right, good luck.